Hi, I'm Storby Buchanan. Welcome to my TED Talk. Did you know all boys are secretly bisexual? Yes, this sounds crazy and improbable, and maybe you think I chose this topic as a joke, but I'm very serious. The majority of boys will claim heterosexuality, as in straight, but the truth comes out when further scientific research is carried out. For example, a research team from Cornell University was tasked with finding the percentage of bisexual men and women from a group. This research found that 100% of both the men and women were aroused by the opposite and same gender. Now, maybe all these people were just gay. That's not likely. Furthermore, an article published by The Sun, written by psychologist Dr. Nick McDermott, suggests that sexuality is actually written into our DNA. The research conducted from North Shore University scanned the DNA of 1,100 gay men and 1,200 straight men. They found the distinct genes found in gay men were also found in straight men, although in lesser amounts. But the most prominent and important pieces of information on why all men are bisexual comes from history. From a time before homosexuality and the like were looked down upon. To start off with the history, we're going to look at the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks did not think of sexual orientation as a social identifier. The Greeks did not often use gender as a deciding factor when it came to sex. There are other examples of how common and accepted bisexuality was in this culture. Now, men were not allowed and were forbidden from having strictly homosexual relations in these times. Men were not allowed to be exclusive to each other, and they were expected to have wives. So in these cultures, having sex with guys was for fun, while having sex with women was for business. Now we're going to talk about the ancient Romans for a second, and there's a lot to talk about here. In terms of sex, they kind of had two genders. Active dominant masculine was one, and passive submissive feminine was one, or the other one. And although these roles have gendered words like masculine and feminine, oftentimes it was between two dudes. I lost my place here. Give me a minute. Roman men were allowed to have sex with whatever gender they chose, and oftentimes gender wasn't a deciding factor. But they could have sex with any gender without a perceived loss of masculinity or social status, so long as they took on the dominant or penetrative role. But you may ask, who is the bottom then, if being a bottom would result in being seen as less masculine and a loss of social status? Well, the answer to this question is children, slaves, former slaves, prostitutes, and entertainers whose lifestyle placed them in the realm of infamia, which is a loss of legal standing and certain rights. Now, of these certain rights, one of the rights you lose is the right to not get butt raped. So yeah, you don't get that anymore. Bisexuality was a normal thing and well within the social confines set in place at the time, which is a lot of evidence that culture and society actually shape your sexuality. One more look at ancient societies that didn't restrict homosexuality and the like. Many Native American tribes actually had the term two-spirited, which refers to individuals who felt they did not belong to one gender and who also found attraction in all four genders. Let me explain that. Of these tribes, they all believed in four genders, like I just said, and this is how they had it. They had like two genders, like masculine and feminine, but they had feminine female, feminine male, and masculine male. It was very common to see masculine males with other masculine males, but more often than not, it would be a masculine male with a feminine male, and there's not too much recorded with like bisexual women, mainly because women didn't have rights back then. All of these historical examples goes to show that when society doesn't have an overly masculine heterosexual archetype for the ideal male, men seem to be indifferent when it comes to the gender of their partner. When society confines and deems certain sexualities wrong, you're going to have people that think they're freaks, and these people change. But when these confines are gone, you'll find almost 100% of men are actually bisexual to a certain extent. And now one last thing. The most strongest piece of evidence I know I said that the look at ancient cultures was going to be my biggest evidence, but actually I have an even bigger one. Men are meant to be bisexual biologically, and I know this because the male G-spot is in the ass.